Hello everyone, I'm Veenat, working as Assistant Professor in Department of Sociology at Postgraduate Government College for Girls, Sector 11, Chandigarh. Today, we'll talk about the concept of globalization and its impact on ecology. We all know that globalization is a buzzword these days, and it is a process of social change that is happening at a very, very high pace. Globalization is such kind of process which is impacting every aspect of our life, and ecology is one of those aspects. Though this social exchange or economic exchange which is happening at a global level with help of so much of advanced technology is focused on economic prosperity, expansion of technology, increasing of trade and betterment, but it is also having some kind of negative implications on other aspects. And today we'll be talking about that negative implication which globalization has on ecology. Our learning objectives would be to understand ecology in the context of globalization, effects of globalization and industrialization on ecology, and the scenario world over. Globalization is a process of interaction among the people, companies and governments of different nations. It is a process driven by international trade and investment intended for global development and economic prosperity. It has opened up vast channels of development and has brought economic prosperity to the nations, and people from different cultures came together. Globalization has created some areas of concern and worry for the environmentalists. Prominent among these is the impact that it has had on the ecology. In the light of this progress, in the initial years, the natural resources have been overexploited, resulting in disturbing the ecology. This disturbance is seen as the reduced genetic diversity in agriculture, loss of wild species, spread of exotic species, pollution of air, water and soil. Climatic change, exhaustion of natural resources, global warming, melting glaciers are the prominent ecological issues faced globally. Environmental hazards like disturbance in tectonic plates is causing earthquakes and tsunamis. In contemporary times, we are in the situations whereby we deal with strange issues like unpredictable weather conditions. There are evidences of changes in rainfall, snowfall, and disturbance in normal seasonal patterns. Global warming, water level going below the normal level, and rise in sea level are becoming matters of global concern. The intensity and frequency of such environmental hazards like earthquakes and tsunamis is such that it is beyond human potential to anticipate and handle. Such issues lead to a situation where there is a dire need of putting sustainable system in place. Keeping this in backdrop, the focus of the module is to understand the impact of globalization on ecology. Before we do that, let's have an overview on ecology. Ecology is a scientific study of the relationship between the living beings and their environment. The term was first used scientifically in 1869 by the German biologist Ernst Haeckel in a study of plant ecology. Ecology has been defined as the study of ecosystems. It consists of all plants, animals and microorganisms, and land, air, water, sun and light. Systematic study of ecology started by Robert Park and other Chicago sociologists. They had used concepts taken from plant and animal ecology in development of urban ecology. So we can say ecology is the study of interactions among living things and between living things and their surroundings. Globalization over the years had severe implications on the ecology. It has been argued that in the regime of globalization, while there has been improvement in technology, communication, innovation and development, ecology has also been disturbed. This disturbance has been accounted as climate change and increase of greenhouse gas emissions, overexploitation of natural resources, extinction of wildlife due to depletion of their natural habitats, hazardous implications of industries. Let's discuss these implications one by one. Climate change and increase of greenhouse gas emissions. Climate change mostly begins from the greenhouse effect, meaning the excessive retention of solar energy in the atmosphere due to an increase of certain gases, particularly CO2. The main supply of CO2 emissions were industrial production, transportation, and deforestation. Increasing CO2 and other greenhouse gases has caused rise in temperature. Change in climate has secondary effects also. Another implication is overexploitation of natural resources. With globalization, there is an increase in the consumption of products, resulting in disruption of ecological cycle of the earth. Increased consumption leads to an increase in the production of goods, which in turn puts stress on the environment. The carriage of these excessive produce involves use of fuel in very high quantities, resulting in increase in pollution levels. Transportation has put a strain on the non-renewable sources of energy. Most of the industries are extracting natural minerals. Another implication is loss of biodiversity due to depletion of their natural habitats. Deforestation is on increase for setting up of industries. Uprooting of forests has resulted in disturbing the wildlife. A large number of species have become extinct in recent decades. Many human activities and urban spread out has displaced certain species. Setting up of highways and constructing tunnels for better connectivity has been possible by cutting mountains and areas that served as habitats for many species. According to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, 22% of the world's mammals are threatened. 24% of the world's snake species are under threat, and 31% of the world amphibians and 35% of the world's birds are endangered species. Research has also documented that up to half of the native plants have become extinct in some areas. Another implication of globalization on ecology is because of the hazard that is created by industries. Industrial accidents are on the increase in the times of globalization. These involve oil spills, fires, leak of radioactive material, and harm to property. Industries generate hazardous waste whose safe disposal becomes a big problem. Industrial pollutants dumped in oceans and water bodies impact the aquatic life. Plastic is one of the major toxic pollutants. The pollution that is caused by industries is also of different types, like water pollution. Industries require huge amounts of water for the production process. During production processes, the water comes into contact with heavy metals, harmful chemicals, radioactive waste, and even organic sludge. These are either dumped into open oceans or rivers. As a result, water resources have high quality of industrial and manufacturing waste and have adverse effects on ecology, especially human beings. The same water is then used by farmers for irrigation purpose. Water pollution has caused groundwater resources useless for humans and wildlife. It can be at best be recycled for the usage in industries. Other types of pollution caused by industries are soil pollution. It can be defined as contamination of soil by human and natural activities which may cause harmful effect on living organism. Soil pollution is caused by mainly industrial activity, agricultural activities, waste disposal, accidental oil spills. industrialization, and increasing human population are two of the main factors for the widespread land pollution the earth is facing today. Air pollution is another kind of pollution. Air pollution is defined as the addition of various hazardous chemicals, particulate matter, toxic substance, and biological organisms into the earth's atmosphere. Industries and factories are often considered a prime factor of air pollution. Air pollution has led to a steep increase in various illnesses, and it continues to affect us on a daily basis. The causes of industrial pollution are listed as follows: lack of policies to control pollution, unplanned industrial growth, use of outdated technologies, presence of large number of small-scale industries, inefficient waste disposal strategies. Apart from this, global warming is another challenge which is happening in the times of globalization. Scientists believe that increase in emissions of carbon dioxide from human activity are the primary cause of global warming. Furthermore, global warming is the cause of the increase in the number of natural disasters such as hurricanes, storms, and floods in the recent years. World's 20% to 30% living species disappear due to rise in global temperature. The poorest regions are the most affected by global warming. There has been significant environmental hazards witnessed in the recent times, like the Chernobyl tragedy. It was probably the worst nuclear power plant disaster in history. On April 26, 1986, one of the reactors at the power plant in Ukraine exploded, resulting in a nuclear meltdown that sent massive amounts of radiation into the atmosphere, reportedly more than the fallout from Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The radiation drifted westward across what was then Soviet Russia towards Europe. Since then, thousands of kids have been diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and an almost 20-mile area around the plant remains off limits. Reactor number 4 has been sealed off in a large concrete sarcophagus that is slowly deteriorating. While the rest of the plant ceased operations in 2000, almost 4,000 workers still report there for various assignments. Another severe tragedy has been the Bhopal gas tragedy. On December 2, 1984, an accident at a Union Carbide pesticide plant in Bhopal, India, resulted in 45 tons of poisonous methyl isocyanate escaping from the facility. Thousands died within hours. More followed over subsequent months, about 15,000 in all. In total, about 500,000 people were affected in some way. Many of those who survived suffered blindness, organ failure, and other awful bodily malfunctions. A shockingly high number of children in the area have been born with all manner of birth defects. In 1989, Union Carbide paid out about $500 million to victims, an amount the afflicted say is not nearly enough to deal with the decades-long consequences. Bhopal remains the worst industrial disaster ever. Apart from this, in this present times of globalization, there are many other natural disasters that have taken place. Natural disasters are disasters that occur as a natural process of weather patterns or other factors affecting Earth. These types of natural disasters can include earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, tsunamis, mudslides, sinkholes and droughts, etc. The natural disasters in the recent times have been on increase. For instance, tsunami in India in 2004 and in Japan in 2011. To deal with the implications that have happened due to globalization on ecology, there have been many initiatives done globally. So some of the global interventions done for better ecology are: in 1972, the UN Conference on the Human Environment the first global conference held at Stockholm. The main objective was preservation and conservation of environment. This was followed by United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, initiating the idea of sustainable development. A population summit was held in Cairo in 1994. The Social Development Summit at Copenhagen in 1995, the Women's Summit at Beijing in 1996, and Climate Change Summit in 1997 at Tokyo. These events were followed by World Summit on Sustainable Development in 2002 that was convened in Johannesburg to renew the commitment to sustainable development. In 2015, Paris Climate Conference COP21 was held at France, which was one of the largest international conference on this subject. To summarize, we can say that while globalization has actually had brought about significant change in our lives in terms of economic prosperity, expansion of technology, creating about new jobs, new avenues, bringing people closer in terms of giving opportunities of cultural contact and so on, and has shrunk the world into a very tiny space. But despite that, it has very severely impacted our ecology, our ecosystem, our environment, created problems like climate change, global warming, and the natural disasters which are beyond the human capacity to understand and control. So it has to be looked into in a proper holistic manner. Though there are many initiatives being taken by various countries globally to overcome the negative implications, but the need of the hour is to do a lot more so that our ecology gets back into what it was. Thank you.